Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another player interview. This time, we got a 2-for-1, and this one's really cool because we have the players that piloted Golden Frieza, also known as Lemon Lime Frieza, at both Pro Play Tour Dallas and Vegas. We have Kevin and we have Aiden, who both got top 16 at their respective tournaments. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Aiden, why don't you start us off?
What's going on, guys? It's Aiden Azar, creator of the Frieza Army page on Facebook. If you haven't already joined, go ahead and join now. Thank you, Joey, for this opportunity, man, and I'm really happy to be on.
My pleasure, man. And Kevin, go ahead.
Name's Kevin. I'm just a Vegas local. Usually I scrub out in events. I didn't this time.
Awesome. And you went to your local big tournament and you topped. That's pretty dope, man. So, all right. Yeah. As far as I understand, Kevin and Aiden were working on this deck together, but Aiden was like the first one to play it at Dallas. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It was pretty much like this. Like I've always been a really big Golden Frieza fan, and shout out to Nathan Wilson for always believing in me to play Golden Frieza. And whenever I saw the green yellow Broly, that just set me off, dude. Like, that made me want to build that deck so much better. And no lie, dude, that is the MVP of the deck. No doubt. Like, Kevin can full 100% agree that card is single-handedly what will push you through the tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was getting reports that this card was the MVP card in blue, yellow, green Broly as well. So this card just seems like it's crazy, this format. Like, you can rival it, play it into like an Apocalypse Grudge, Grade A baby, and it's 25k, so it's not going to die. You pop the baby, and it just provides so much value. I'm really surprised that Golden Frieza kind of evolved this way, because I used to play this deck, several sets ago, where it was kind of just like green, yellow, good stuff, and it pretty much still is like green, yellow, good stuff, which is really cool. And I'm actually seriously convinced that this deck is tier 1, even if you don't come across like the silver bullets like Borgos and things like that. But those aren't really cards people are playing right now. They probably will start siding it now this deck has picked up some steam. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys do in the face of that? Like, I know you guys have removal, but I mean, was like Borgos or any of those cards really scary throughout the weekend? Kevin, you want to maybe start it off?
Pretty much like every other round I had somebody side up Borgos against me, and it never really mattered.
Oh, so people actually were putting them in.
Yeah, you really just main a lot of answers that side it. I had a red baby triple Raditz me, and I was like, okay, tap 1, Mass Saiyan, swing leader, tap your energy, you lost.
Wow. Okay, so you guys obviously have the answers to it. I am surprised that people were sideboarding it, but I guess people are quick to pick up on the Golden Frieza hype. So looking at the two lists, there's only a few changes that I can tell at least. So like, for example, Broly prepping for battle went from 1 in Aiden's list to 2 in Kevin's list, and you guys are maining 2 Mass Saiyans in Kevin's list. So how did you guys link up on this deck in the first place?
Yeah, like, it was mainly like I started the Frieza Army page, and like I reached out to Kevin because he was a big fan of Golden Frieza as well, and he said he loved the list from Dallas and he was going to try it out. And so we went over and broke it down to each other and like what ideas like we would have, and just basically from there, Kevin is an amazing pilot himself. He gave me some great ideas with it and showed me some different ratios and some stuff that myself I was kind of on the edge about. But I mean, he made 4th place in Vegas. Like, that's incredible, dude. Like, props to him 100%.
Yeah, that's definitely an awesome finish. Kevin, you want to say anything about how like the lists maybe changed a little bit from your guys' discussion?
Yeah. So it's just a personal thing. Usually I just don't like one-ofs. I like having the pop for the 1-drop. If it's in life, like that 1-drop Broly, and I need to pop like a Kid Ku or a Borgos, let's say, I want to be able to hit it or be able to search for it. My idea was Mass Saiyan, anything 5 or less. If it's not going to get to 6 or more energy most of the time, so All Out Assault can take care of stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
I just put 2 Champa because I don't like running 1-in-1. It looks weird to me.
Yeah, the 1 Champa and the 1 hidden Supreme Kai is pretty hard flex. But All right, so we'll start talking about some of the card choices and ratios in the list. So we have obviously the Champas, the Chilais. That's gonna be one of your main ways to untap energy with Frieza, and Broly prepping for battle. So he pops 1-drops, which is very relevant for things like Borgos, things like Kid Ku, like you just mentioned, and then he gets you into your Broly paralyzing presence chain. So how effective was this chain over the course of the weekend? You know, some people think it is kind of lackluster because you're pitching cards, but this leader draws a ton. So Kevin, how did this engine perform for you over the weekend?
So you don't really get the second skill for prepping for battle. It kind of sucks, but usually you're just tapping 2 for paralyzing, locking a battle card, tapping another 2, getting the big beefy 30k boy out. Usually locking a leader or an energy, because that's ridiculous. And then, honestly, if they don't have removal, you're just kind of swinging with a 30k every turn. That's kind of how I won my first game against Hachiak. I got into low life quick and just swung with a 30k every turn.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that
really
big 30k is huge.
Yeah, it's hard to swing over, too. They have to waste so many resources.
Gotcha. Now, a question for Aiden. So, Frieza Spiteful Strike. This is, you know, there's a lot of 1-drops you could play for the Frieza Army engine. You could play more copies of Avenging Frieza or more copies of Chilai, but you guys chose to include Frieza Spiteful Strike, which when you play it, you choose a battle card and you negate its effects. Why did you guys choose this card? Because this card to me seems like very format dependent. So what was like the main thing you guys wanted to hit with this card?
Okay, so Spiteful Strike, you know, when I first saw it happen, and like when I first saw that it came out, I noticed that that card is a very, very good card against certain matchups that, you know, are going to be really hard for you, such as like Veggies that goes very wide. If you Spiteful Strike a Champa Vados, you are probably just going to just push them in that turn. And then like for fringe situations, you know, like in my game against Hachiak, whenever I was trying to go for the Victory Strike play, when I had sided into Victory Strike, I double Spiteful Striked, removed a blocker, and then Mass Saiyan away blockers. So Mass Saiyan says you cannot hit blockers with him, but I Spiteful Strike double times and then wiped away blockers with Mass Saiyan. And it's just fringe situations like that Mass or Spiteful Strike comes in very clutch. I mean, and you know, being able to also effectively just destroy green Broly, like starter deck Broly with that card is bonkers, because you hit their 4-drop or you hit their 6-drop, negated skill away, and they can't go up the chain. Mainly Spiteful Strike is just there just to be an answer, and also for Borgos too. I mean, you wipe away the skill of Borgos for a turn, then you're like, okay, cool, I turned off your Borgos, I'm just going to keep extending my plays, you know what I mean?
All right, that's pretty dope. I love that explanation, and it's obvious to me that you guys took like a serious look at the format. Kevin, were there any other situations for you where Spiteful Strike was really the MVP?
Going back to that game with Hachiak, so turn 4 when you go for Victory Strike, you tap 4 to go into Height. You pop a card, untap 2. Yep. You evolve for Victory Strike for 1, so you have 1 up. He had a blocker and 3 energy up, so I was able to tap a 3 energy, negate the blocker with Spiteful, and then swing like 85-90 victory.
Nice.
Stuff like that. The Mass Saiyan removal, it's always really good.
Gotcha.
You can negate. I negated a indestructible card that had Aegis. I think it was like the counter Zamasu.
Mm-hmm.
I might not actually done it, but I knew I thought about it because I knew I had game regardless. But you can negate indestructible, which is hilarious.
Oh, that's dirty, dude.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. You can negate indestructible. It's one of the. I'm glad they implemented a way to deal with that, because honestly, indestructible in certain situations is pretty obnoxious. But another question. Yeah, another question. So you guys included 4 Frieza calls in both the lists. So just a question about this. I mean, this is an extra card, so of course, you know, there is a problem with running too many extra cards. It could be a bit clunky at times. How come you guys didn't just run like more copies of each of the low cost Frieza cards?
You don't need to draw them.
You just want to play them from deck?
You can play anything from deck, dude. It's the best starter in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I will have to say, Joey, that Frieza Call is literally the heart of the deck.
Okay.
Because you Frieza Call out Malicious Streak, and then Malicious Streak just takes the game for you. Like, it is the heart. Like, that play is the strongest play of the deck, because what you do is you Frieza Call into Malicious Streak, and then you pop Malicious Streak to play a Frieza from hand, take a life, and untap 1, draw 1. If you hit Infernal Villainy, you take another life, thus letting you exceed further to be able to extend plays. Then also for the next turn, if your opponent does not have removal, giving you a free target to pop for the next turn.
Okay, you guys right now are making my little brain the big brain right now. So this is awesome. All right, let's go over to the sideboard because I think the main deck is pretty much perfect as it's gonna get right now. So, all right, you guys did put in the Victory Strike engine with the Path to Greatnesses and the Height of Masteries. Again, I think this is a super cool engine to put in the side deck, and I know this is obviously for Hachiyak. Were there other matchups where this was relevant, like maybe Janemba or something like that?
So Janemba and Hachiyak are the obvious ones. Kid Ku is a really hard matchup. It helped, but the guy was running Mutaido. That sucks. That was my one loss in Swiss.
To the one blue-yellow skillless player?
Yeah, right.
So they're still out there. I love it. They're still out there.
It came in. It's actually really smart to put it in against Starter Baby of all things.
Really? How does that work out?
I was talking to Aiden about it before it started in testing. It was just super good because not because Victory Strike's just a crazy counter, but you want to charge double yellow turn 2, like always. You want to lock their leader so they can't pressure you, and on their awakening turn, like you time magic their finisher and they lose because they don't have the dual attack, they lose.
Right.
And another really good matchup, like a Starter Baby, because like he just explained, if you lock their leader down, and you just can just Nimbus lock them, because when you switch over to the Victory Strike package, you're putting in all yellow, making more room for Nimbus and for more time magic, and you know that way you're able to stay on a more defensive route. Also, the Hiru matchup becomes free because you could just lock Hiru and they can't draw. So it's like it's
same with Yellow
insane.
Broly actually. The 7-drop kills Yellow Broly. That's how I won my game 2 on stream.
Nice.
Which
yeah, because
cut out, so I
they
have
can't
to- I have
draw,
to
they
wait a week
can't
to watch
self-awaken. Yeah, that seems pretty legit. So okay, then another question then. So if you guys are bringing in the Victory Strike, the Nimbus, the Universe 7 reps, the 4 paths, and then the 3 heights, that's 11 cards out of your side deck. So what are you taking out from the main deck? That's so many cards going in. Aiden, maybe you can answer this one. What's coming out of the main deck for all this stuff to come in from the side deck?
Okay, so mainly what happened is I just kept the Infernal Villainy Friezas, and then I would take out like most of the green, other than like maybe a couple Chivais and maybe 2 of the dual color Broly's just in case if you need them. But for the most part, you'll take out all the Paraguses, and you'll take out most of the stuff that like is the green engine of the deck, because you're not really having to worry about charging green. If you charge green in the deck with the Victory Strike package, you're going to be a turn slower from your kill turn, because what the Victory Strike deck does is it wants to kill you by turn 4. The deck can kill turn 4, can go to Victory Strike turn 4 and be able to pop, untap 2, and have Cold Bloodlust to stop anything, you know, from Victory Strike hitting you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. All right, so another question then. We have a change from Aiden's list to Kevin's list, and that was Fu Shrouded in Mystery to Kevin's list playing Fu the Dark Banisher. So Kevin, maybe you could talk to us about where that change came into play, and maybe which one you think is better. Was Fu better? Sorry, they're both Fu. Was Dark Banisher better over the course of the weekend? What do you think?
So Shrouded cost 6, and that's only ever going to happen against Hachiyak, maybe Janemba if you lock their leader so they can't mill you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few other like weird matchups, I guess. It never came up though. So I can side in Dark Banisher against almost anything. I sided in 2 against Revive Goku, which I consider my worst matchup.
Really?
And it single-handedly won the game. Yeah, the main board surprisingly is like it does not have a good answer for the Kaioken Revive matchup. They just get too many cards.
Type of thing.
Yeah, you play Dark Banisher and you pretty much win because they go -1 for a revive because they have to activate Leader Skill to draw the 2, activate Revive, so that's 2 cards they have to work. It's not worth it for them, and then you pretty much just win. And he's a 2-cost because you pop a Frieza's army. A 2-cost Dark Banisher is pretty busted.
Yeah, I can agree. And in certain decks where you're ramping and hard casting Dark Banisher, or if you can make it a 2-cost, that is pretty busted. So then Aiden, maybe you can answer this next one for us. So Swift Retaliation Cooler, a very interesting card to have in the side deck because obviously it's battering laser, and you do have a little bit of energy manipulation in this deck. So how come not in the main deck, and what matchups specifically did you want to bring it in against?
So actually now I main deck it.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that it was a horrible call in Dallas for me not to main deck it. But it was
I
just
agree.
so hard for me to whenever I was prepping, because you want me to be honest with you, I never played against a set 8 deck before I went to Dallas, man.
Wow.
Other than
Oh Lord.
a couple of people. Yeah, and like the night before, I played like it was the night before, man. I played against the Hachiak deck, and I was just like, yo, this is bad. Like, this deck is awful. Like, there is no answers in my deck for me to be able to beat this. So my buddy Brian, shout out to Brian, he suggested, why not Hide Mastery? And that's where that all shot off from, man. Like, if you put in that package against Hachiak, you're probably going to win, because Hachiak can't deal with that so early. They awaken on their turn 3. You're at your 4 energy, and I mean, you can just Spiteful Strike away their blockers and rest their stuff, and they don't have many outs to Victory Strike, because in the Victory Strike package, you don't even swing at them. Like, they switch game styles completely. The green-yellow will swing at you and beat your head in, but the yellow one will just sit and mean mug you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
The cool thing
so-
about Golden Frieza is that you can just like never attack them and passively gain advantage. That's really cool. Kevin, did you want to make a mention on something?
Yeah, to add on to that, siding in Victory Strike against Hachiak, I was so confident with doing that. My game plan against playing that all day, even in Top Cut, if I were to play against like David or something, was I'm gonna play until like turn 3 or 4. If I'm not in a state to win in like 2 to 3 turns, I'm not risking going to time. I'm just gonna scoop and go to game 2.
Yeah.
I was going into the day thinking I was just gonna scoop game 1 in general, but I decided I'd play out a couple turns.
Yeah, because it could go either way. I
And-
mean, the thing with Hachiak is like they don't have an inevitable kill turn, because you can grind back and forth with them. But if they just have all the negates and all the blockers, it could be pretty rough. But
Yeah,
guys,
I was
so
just more worried about going to time.
yeah, so real quick, guys, we'll start with Kevin first. Any major changes you would make to the deck after playing and topping at Vegas?
Honestly, maybe maining a cooler. And then in the sideboard, just to help against Revive, I kind of wanted to put in that yellow Vegeta BR where he pops a barrier.
In rest mode, yep.
Yeah, just like 1 over the Nimbus. Because usually like I'll side in the 3rd Nimbus against some things, but it never comes in too much.
And then Aiden, any major changes you think you would make going forward?
Okay, so I had already made a couple changes. I actually do love Kevin's idea with the 2 prepping for battle, because dealing with Borgos is a thing. It's extra green energy. I have switched over to Dark Banisher Fu as a 1-of in the main, and then Mass Saiyan. I am going to main the cooler going forward, but I really do want to see what is to come, because there is some room for bigger boss monsters in the deck. I was actually thinking of maybe even siding in Clan of Terror, because if you side in Clan of Terror on the turn that you have 4 energy and you have a Frieza army on the field, and if you have established the Broly chain, you can look at your opponent's hand, take anything you want, and then lock it, pretty much. Like, you put it into rest mode and then use the 4-drop to lock that card. And you get free information that is very vital to this game. Information on your opponent, deck counts, just seeing and being able to see if you can push in for game. If you see your opponent has super combos, you see your opponent has negates. If they don't have any, go for it, because you can also energy manipulate with the green-yellow rival Broly. You know what I mean? So, and then I would probably still main the Fu Shrouded in the sideboard. Like, I would keep him in sideboard, because he will effectively in the game for you if it goes late game. And he becomes a 4-drop. He becomes Dark Banisher, for you. Dark Banisher does become a 2, but Fu Shrouded becomes a 4-drop. That's pretty broken.
That's a pretty good trade-off for sure. So guys, quick question: can we expect to see you guys at the Dalen Mac Tournament of Power in February?
Oh yeah, I can make that for sure.
Well, yeah, that's right in your
12-minute
backyard.
drive.
Yeah, that's right in your backyard.
Unfortunately for me, my wife's birthday is that weekend. So
Ooh.
I cannot make that one, but I am going to definitely try to make Florida.
Fair enough. Hope to
try
see
to
you in
make that
Florida, and Kevin, I'll be seeing you in Vegas. So guys, we'll start with Aiden first. Any final shout outs you want to get out there?
I just wanted to go ahead and make a shout out to Jerome, to Joshua, to Joseph, to Reggie, to all the meta breakers, and shout out to my team Godstrike. Shout out to Ernest Damien. He's definitely given me, some really good pointers on decks, and has given me, a lot of advice. And then most of all, shout out to Frieza Army. Thank you all. Like, I really love all of you. And shout out to you, Joey. Thank you for this opportunity.
My pleasure, man. Kevin, take it away with your shout outs.
Man, he hit a lot of them. Shout out to all the locals. Brian, Android, he helped me test a lot against Baby. I never ended up playing against the set leader Baby, which sucked because I prepared for it a good amount. All my locals. That's about it.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on, and we will see you guys next time.
All right.